Ladies and gentlemen, the very funny Mr. Woody Allen.
Now, I'd say the most important thing that happened over the last year was that I got married. For the second time, I had... Well, my wife and I did not communicate with one another, was the problem. She had a limited vocabulary, is really what it was. She burnt her hand on the radiator, and she couldn't think of the word ouch. And I'll tell you how I met my second wife, which is really fascinating. I had read that in Life magazine that there was a sexual revolution going on college campuses all over the country. And I re-registered at New York University to check it out, because I used to go to New York University years ago. I was a history of hygiene major there some time ago. And when I went to school, I was thrown out, and I got a job. My father had a grocery store on Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn. And he hired me to work for him. It was the first job I ever had working for my father. And I unionized the workers. We struck and drove him out of business. And he's always been touchy about it, you know? And now when I went back to school, suddenly everybody wanted to fix me up with women. And I have had a very bad history with blind dates. It's embarrassing to be sitting at the Stork Club and have your date arrested by Israeli agents, you know? And it's my fault, because I am immature with women to this day, because my parents did not love me when I was younger. They bronzed my baby shoes with my feet still in them. I was very depressed about that for a long time. I was going to kill myself. But as I said, I was in a strict Freudian analysis. And if you kill yourself, they make you pay for the sessions you miss. You know? I accept this date. Blind date, first time in years. I go up to a fourth-floor walk-up, and I knock on the door. And a girl comes to the door, and she's absolutely beautiful, but sensational. Long blonde hair and a short skirt and boots and a sleeveless jersey and a big leather belt in her hand. And I'm not a swinger. You know, my idea of a big evening is to go down to the corner rotisserie and watch the chickens revolve. You know? And I take her downstairs, and sitting on her front steps are bullies, is what they are, bad guys making nasty remarks. And I don't get involved in that scene anymore. I had taken some karate lessons for a short while, and they taught me how to shatter a 3-inch board with one chop of my hand. And I was coming home late at night, and 2 guys stepped out of an alley and attacked me with a 4-inch board. They beat the heck out of me, you know. I take her to a party on McDougal Street in Greenwich Village. We go into a smoke-filled room. There's a lot of young kids dancing to Dirksen records. The host is a little adorable girl who is knocking ashes from her banana on the floor. And I do not use, you should also know this about me, any sort of consciousness-expanding material, because my body will not tolerate it. Either I took a puff of the wrong cigarette at a fraternity dance once, and the cops had to get me, you know. I broke 2 teeth trying to give a hickey to the Statue of Liberty. The party begins to move downstairs now. And everybody's playing bongos and guitar, and a cop on horseback comes up to me, and he puts his arms around me. And he says to me, "Are you one of those draft card burners?" Immediately. And I said, "No, I'm not. I never registered. I don't have a draft card." Meanwhile, the little girl feeds what looks like a cube of sugar to the policeman's horse. The horse showed up at a sit-in in Georgia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very funny Mr. Woody Allen.
Thank you. Here's what I want to do in my time here. I want to review some of the salient features of my private life over the last year and put them in perspective for you. And then we'll have a brief question and answer period and evaluate them together. Now, I did a vodka ad. Let me start at the very beginning. A big vodka company wanted to do a prestige ad. And they wanted to get Noel Coward for it originally, but he was not available. He had acquired the rights to My Fair Lady, and he was removing the music and lyrics and making it back into Pygmalion. And they tried to get Laurence Olivier and Hallie Loki, you know. And they finally got me to do it. I'll tell you, they got my name. It was on a list in Eichmann's pocket when they picked him up. And I'm sitting home one night, I'm watching television. I'm watching a show called Surprise Divorce, you know. They take a happily married couple out of the audience and divorce them on television. And the phone rings, and I answer it. And a voice on the other end says, how would you like to be this year's vodka man? And I said, no. I'm an artist. I do not do commercials. I will not pander. I don't drink vodka. And if I did, I wouldn't drink your product. And he said, too bad. It pays $50,000. And I said, hold on. I'll put Mr. Allen on the phone. And I was caught here in an ethical crisis. And, you know, should I advertise a product that I don't actually use is the problem, because I am not a drinker. My body will not tolerate spirits of any sort. I had 2 martinis New Year's Eve, and I tried to hijack an elevator and fly it to Cuba. And in the past, whenever I had any sort of crisis at all, I used to consult with my analyst. This is public knowledge. I was in analysis for years because I've emotional problems that I had. I suffered from the delusion that I was short and thin. And I was in a strict Freudian analysis for a long time. And my analyst died 2 years ago, and I never realized it, you know? And now, whenever I have any sort of upset, I always consult with my spiritual counselor, who in my case is my rabbi. And I called him up on the phone, and I laid the proposition on him. And he said, don't do it, because it's illegal and immoral and unethical to advertise a product you don't actually use for the money. And I said, okay, and I passed up the ad. And I must say it took great courage, because I needed the money. I was writing at that time. I needed to be freed creatively. I was working on a non-fiction version of the Warren Report. You know? I just passed the ad up. I was really cavalier. And a month later, I'm leafing through Life magazine. And I see a photograph of Monique Van Vuren in a slim bikini bathing suit. And she's on the beach in Jamaica. And there, next to her, with a cool vodka in his hand, is my rabbi. So I call him up on the phone, you know, and he puts me on hold. And what happened was he wanted to go into show business. He had done a late-night prayer on television, and he was in the middle of the 23rd Psalm, and he tried to ad-lib, you know. He tried to name the 10 Commandments, and couldn't think of them, you know. Instead, he named the 7 dwarfs. Now, in addition to my vodka ad, I also played Las Vegas for the first time this year. I'm not a gambler. You should know that about me. I went to the racetrack once in my life, and I bet on a horse called Battle Gun. And all the horses come out, and mine is the only horse in the race with training wheels. And you must take my word for this. There is something seductive about me when I shoot crap. I'm at the gaming table, and I'm dicing, and a very provocative woman comes up to me. She begins to size me up. And I take her up to my room for a drink. And I shut the door. And I remove my glasses. Show her no mercy. And I unbutton my shirt. And she unbuttons her shirt. And I smile. And she smiles. And I remove my jacket. And she removes her jacket. And I wink. And she winks. And I roll up my sleeves. And she rolls up her sleeves. And I realize I'm looking into a mirror. I don't want to go into details, but I was pulling glass out of my legs for 2 weeks.